what is your advice for pitching? Like, where do you go to discover stories? Like, how do we find those local news?
I can take that. So I would just say, know the place that you are pitching, know the kinds of stories that they have covered. Have they covered this issue in the past? And see if there's something that interests you, or, as I was saying before, like, is there a question that we haven't asked? Or it's also like getting out to other neighborhoods and seeing what's there, or like, is there something amazing about this one? It can even be a restaurant, like you talk to the restaurant owner and this person has an amazing story that should be told. And, or like you start to see all of those 15-minute grocery internet startups, like the places like Getter. What are they doing to the neighborhood? What are the stories that you're kind of curious about yourself and that aren't being told out there? I think like also reading all of the possible news sources in that community, because then you have a sense of like the stories that have been covered already. Because what editors want to see are things that they haven't heard before. And so if you're just going to give the umpteenth story about a certain subject, then that is less interesting. But then if you're like, this is something, there's some areas that are just not as covered as much, or we should just be devoting more time to. So some freelance pitches that we've been taking a lot of lately have been about the environment and how that's affecting, communities on a more local level. So, I would also like venture out. Everyone sometimes wants to do the sexy stuff that's like, we're covering the mayor, or it's going to be about, this like high profile case. But sometimes it's the undercovered stuff and you having a really good pitch around that will get somebody's attention.
I love the way you said that. Every editor wants to hear something new. That's what makes them all, that's the commonality. What can you bring them they haven't heard before?